The only good orc is one you eat 3,000 feet into the Earth's atmosphere, and thanks to these mods, we are able to completely disregard not only the laws of physics, but the mortal restraints imposed by the gods. We'll start with placing down enough lasers to melt my retinas and create the most advanced game of laser tag of all time. Then of course, adding a firing squad of archers, because if we kill the orcs fast enough, we don't have to question the moral ramifications. Although I can appreciate traps that work well, many were still slipping by, and this was more efficient than it was a meme. So I decided to create that one haul from that one Resident Evil movie and began placing lasers on the ground so we can begin going after the real target. Also, the reason why our archers aren't performing as good as they should be is probably because we have the wrong placement, which is exactly why I began placing them on the ceiling and walls so they now optimally target and more importantly intimidate their enemies while arching. Now unfortunately, the only thing holding us back is the fact that we have boomers running in here and exploding groups of our archers like this is Minecraft. So we're going to add about 100 more archers to these halls on just about every surface that starts with S and ends with Urfus. Because much like the old adage goes, if something isn't working, do a lot more of it and eventually you can justify your poor choices. In this case, we've made a legitimate improvement. As you can see, the archers have turned into a much better version of barricades and now function much more like a pinball machine. Moving on, I seek vengeance for the 5 hours of my life I lost trying to 5-skull the Order Temple many moons ago. So I'm now going to take down Volwick through the power of many upside down priestesses and a lot of archers, which we'll use as Overwatch here by the gate. But I forgot about this second portal over here, but it's nothing that an army of knights can't handle. Update, it was in fact something that the knights can't handle. As fast as I can spam build barricades like this is some disturbed version of Fortnite, they can break them or just phase through them because they are criminals who are breaking the laws. Fortunately, through a very calm and collected strategy to fall back and sporadically place as many knights as I possibly could, we were able to handle our enemies and advance to the next wave. Now that I've emerged from hiding, let's check in on the troops. Ah yes, doing better than ever I see. The wall is giving birth to many of them and the others are simply dancing in celebration of our great victory. Carry on, soldiers, you've earned this much. Now if there's anything I've learned in my many years of playing COD, it's that we need a way to spawn camp our enemies. So let's throw down a catapult here like this. Going through the positives here, we have better range and a tactical lean for plus 1000% damage. Now for the negatives, you do temporarily snap your neck like this until you sit in a regular catapult again. It seems my warriors have chosen this time of strife to give me the silent treatment and stop pursuing our enemies. This little act just got my head all twisted up and I accidentally started the third wave without having any defenses on the back spawn. I was able to quickly throw down barricades and some ceiling archers, but unfortunately all of this army had the same irresponsible parents as Danny Phantom. 100 knights would seem to be the logical conclusion to fix this issue, but now our enemies are beginning to look like a PowerPoint presentation. Setting up defenses requires acumen, perspiration, and intuition. And as Nicolas Cage once said while writing the Declaration of Independence, if you have an issue, violence is always a good first resort. So if you look closely, we've taken this sage advice to heart, and this small book club causes a shocking amount of lag, and hearing them say reset is giving me tinnitus. Although my army looked very capable, in the end I forgot to tip them all 20%, and now they let 40 orcs walk into the rift to end my reign as the Apex champion. Moving on to the next scenario, we are here in Donkey Kong's castle. I placed down a ton of tornado things on the ceiling here, and now I'm going to show you the best way to take care of flying enemies. You just wait for it. This is going to be the new meta. You'll be throwing that stone staff in the trash. Cut the feed! Cut the feed! We then placed all of our outdoor tornado traps on the ground, which are fantastic for only handling ground troops. Only an idiot would think otherwise. Besides, we already placed down about 10 sets of archers on the wall so we can introduce the new sci-fi series called Tornado Skeet Shooting. The only issue you'll find with using 200 tornado traps is that it makes it very hard to see absolutely anything at all. But I'm not gonna lie, the noise it makes is actually quite peaceful and almost made me forget about the Geneva Convention violations we get glimpses of in between tornadoes. The next challenge is using the map with comically large runways to create the largest man-made structure ever built in this game. After cranking some wicked 90s, we created our pyramid and had words with the big man in the sky. My duty was clear, so I jumped off the tower in the hopes of landing on this castle, only to discover that castles are actually just fake houses made by aliens, and I was marked for termination. Looking at our tower from the outside, I was disappointed with its size.
That's kind of small.
So I built a much bigger and better tower using elite craftsmanship that would make Home Depot proud.
I guess bigger really is better.
Anyways, I then tried to jump on the tower once again and accidentally ended up falling into an even darker, scarier part of the castle that had no invisible line of death in it. However, there was also no door. For the final mod, we have mankind's best accomplishment, flight. And through some more clever flip trap placement, we also now have the world's greatest workplace hazard. And if you make it to the end, you're out of here. As for the others... The one drawback of smaller enemies getting yeeted into the abyss at the end of the round is that you have to wait for them to hit the water many miles away to start the next one. Occasionally an ogre will get stuck up in a little ledge or something like that, but most of the time it'll end up looking something like this. I think I'm just going to sit here for a while and take in the nice view. If you enjoyed this video, consider checking out our other stuff, and as always, thanks for watching.